Yo, what's up? It's me, KB from Brooks Basketball Services, and today I'm the special guest on Legends with Bevo.
Welcome to Legends with Bevo, thanks to Anytime Fitness Glenelg.
Yes, welcome to another edition of Legends with Bevo, and what a privilege it is today to be joined by two-time championship player of the Adelaide 36ers, played 126 games of NBA as well, was the former assistant coach with the Sixers, and now Brooks Basketball Services, he's involved in doing great things with that. KB, great to have you on for a chat, mate. Tell us more about Brooks Basketball Services.
Yeah, Bevo, look, thanks for the intro, man. Look, it's one of those services, there's quite a few people around Adelaide and around the country that are providing services to the community, and that's pretty much what we're doing. I'm pretty much staying in my lane in regards to basketball and being a player and then a coach and now also skill developer, business owner. It's come full circle. We don't do just the elite players. We've had some really good players come through, but we believe in no kid left behind is our USP, our unique selling kind of point. And because you're not an elite player, we don't want you to miss out. Because the finances may be a little bit tight, we don't want you to miss out. We got different programs, different costs, and we think it's set up pretty nice so that no one has to miss out for any reason. So if you're Division III, Division IV, Division V, I coach everyone. So one-on-one, small clinics, holiday camps, weekly academies. We do a little bit of all of that. So that's a quick rundown on what we do.
Wonderful. And how do people get involved? Is it they just hit you up on Facebook on the Brooks Basketball Services or on your website, or what's that?
Website, brooksbasketball.com.au, Facebook page, Instagram. Just shoot me a message and I'll get back to you, or my wife will get back to you. And she's our operations manager for Brooks Basketball and doing a tremendous job. And so we're just trying to make it work, man. I've come full circle now. I don't want to get a real job, Bevo. I've never been any good at a real job, man. So, I want to stick with hoops, man. And we're doing a good job with it. We got a lot of great kids and great parents on board. And like I said, if it's not Brooks Basketball, it's some other guys out there really doing some good things. Joey is doing some good things with his transition to sport. Rashad Tucker's been doing it for a while. Alex Stallin is doing it. Ricky Simpson, Willie Genetti, Al Green, who we just saw, the great Al Green, is doing it, Mark Davis. So it's a lot of guys, Steve Pilkington. It's a lot of guys in different areas who are doing skill development, and they're doing a really good job of it. And Brooks Basketball is here at Mars, and we do some stuff up in Golden Grove, and we do bounce around to different places, but there's a lot of good guys out there doing it. Lab 46, let's give him a shout out. My man is doing a great job over in Mawson Lakes with his program as well.
Wonderful. I do love as well, like you said before, how it's for anyone. You don't have to be an elite player. It's just encouraging people to get out and play basketball and play sport and be active, which is what we want everyone to be doing, don't we?
Exactly. Yeah. We want you to be out there. We don't want you sitting out in front of those video games all day long. Get out. Australia's an outdoor country, outdoor sports, fishing, no matter what it is, they love being outdoors. But these video games are huge, and so if we can kind of take some people away from that, some kids away from that. I've got some parents who've reached out and say, look, he's not playing a lot of basketball, but can you get him in? Because we want to get him off the computer. So this is legitimate, man, you know what I mean? So we cater to any and all, and it's a great way to come out and have some fun and develop some skills. And you don't have to play in the NBA or the NBL. You can just be good at your local competition, your school competition. You can get better. And if you get better, the game's a lot more fun anyway.
Exactly, mate. I've played basketball for a number of years, and it's a lot of great friends from it as well. So, totally spot on there, mate. Now let's talk about your time at the Sixers. Obviously 7 years as the assistant coach to Joey. Talk us through your relationship with Joey and I guess the good and bad times that you had there at the Sixers.
Well, look, my relationship with Joey is good. I mean, he hired me 7 years ago. He's a tremendous coach, not only a game day coach, X's and O's coach, but Joey can develop talent. And majority of the coaches in the league, I don't think can do both. You might be good at one or the other, and he's very good at both of them. And so he's done a tremendous job, I think, for the basketball community here. Not just with the Sixers, because Joey does a lot of work with the amateurs. Okay, he does a lot of, he's with Norwood coaching the girls, and he has his transition sport business now where he's coaching a lot of juniors. He's helping kids develop their skills to go to college or become pros. He helps coaches get other jobs in other countries. He's been a tremendous asset to South Australia, to basketball in general. So my relationship with him has been good and will continue to be good. I don't talk to him as much now because he's doing his thing and I'm doing my thing. But we've talked on the phone a few times and messages and whatnot because we're both kind of hustling again as we resetting things a bit. But it's unfortunate the way our season and our tenure ended there. It got a bit ugly, Bevo. It wasn't good for Joey, wasn't good for the players, wasn't good for the club. And so it's unfortunate that it ended that way. I think Joey deserved to go out better than that for the 7 years that he had put in on and off the court. But, you know, these things happen in sports sometimes, you know. We take responsibility for the club, the team missing out on the playoffs 2 years in a row. You know, we made some decisions that ended up not being very good decisions. And that happens. You do recruiting, you do you're reaching out to different coaches and you're asking about players here and there and whatnot, and you get it right and sometimes you get it wrong. And we got it wrong. I believe it cost us our jobs. And you know what? You take it on the chin and you move on.
And yourself personally, like you went for the head coaching role with the Adelaide
Yes.
36ers, and do you feel a little bit of bitterness towards the club as well in the fact that, you know, not only did you miss out on the role, but you weren't offered an assistant coach position under Connor Henry?
Look, no, I feel no bitterness towards the club whatsoever. The way things went down, I understand that they wanted to clean house. And unfortunately, a lot of it was directed probably at Joey and at, you know, with the club and maybe, you know, a player or two here or there. I wasn't directly involved in that, but I was still a part of the club. And so when they wanted to clean house, that meant me as well. Now, the club did give me an interview, and they didn't have to do that, but they gave me an interview, and I interviewed for the head position, and I didn't get it. In regards to assistant coach, I don't feel anything towards Connor not hiring me as a coach whatsoever. They wanted to clean house. When Connor came in, he needed to choose his own assistant coach. A head coach should choose their own assistant coaches. They shouldn't come in and there's a coach there waiting. I don't believe that. So the fact that I wasn't hired for that, I actually didn't think that I would be. So once I didn't get the head job, I didn't think that I was going to be an assistant anyway. So I have no ill feelings towards the club or Connor. The way it went down, I understand it. Sometimes these things have to be done. I wanted an opportunity to take over the reins as head coach. And look, I'm staying close to the game. There may be an opportunity sometime in the future. I don't know, but I still will support my club. I just spoke with them about buying some tickets actually recently for my family and also for my kids in Brooks basketball, being able to give out some free tickets to families and kids. So I still may do that, but I have no ill feelings towards them at all.
Mate, absolutely. That's why you're so well respected. Well said. Now let's talk about your own basketball career. You grew up in South Carolina, played 126 games in the NBA. Talk to us through your junior career, playing basketball in America and then going on to play in the world's biggest basketball competition.
My goodness, Bevo. I mean, look, I was just a regular kid growing up in a small town in Louisiana, doing the things that kids do, you know, playing a bit of sport, doing some fishing and things like that. Big back home. I wasn't doing much hunting. I didn't never venture that much, Bevo, man, because down south, boy, it's like, you know, out of Waterboy. You see the movie Waterboy, it's crazy down there, man. So if you're going in the bushes and you do your business or something and a little rustling, you might get shot in the bushes, man. They'll shoot first and come see what they shot second. So I never got into the hunting, bro. It was fishing in the wide open where everybody can see you. And of course, it was sports. I done track and field, which you guys call athletics. I didn't do any football. Football is entirely too crazy for me. So I done athletics and I played basketball. Wasn't very good. I was always, you know, the elephant in the room. I was a giraffe in the room, and was just so awkward young. You see some of the young kids who come through, man, and you know, they got legs and arms going everywhere, and that was me, man. I would go one way, my arms would go the other, my legs go that way. But eventually, as you get older, coordination start to catch up. You start to mature a bit. And basketball, all of a sudden, when I was awkward and I kind of stood out for the wrong reasons, all of a sudden I just kept playing it. I enjoyed it. And then all of a sudden it became cool, Bevo. Then all of a sudden the height, became a bit cool. So then all of a sudden you start getting a different type of attention, a much better type of attention. And I started to get better at the sport. So all of a sudden, I come up through middle school and high school, and I started late. I started like year 7. So I didn't start young like, some of the under 8 kids that I'm coaching right now. I started much later. But then I got to high school, and all of a sudden, I got better and better. Colleges and universities in America start recruiting me, start sending out letters and stuff, and that was huge. That was intense, because they're calling home and you're talking to coaches, and they're putting in their pitch of why they want you and what they can do, and you can get education, and you're like 16, 17 years old, you know what I mean? You're talking to these coaches. Some of these coaches are big time coaches, because I was recruited by a few big Division I schools. So it was very intimidating, but we got through it. God bless, made a decision, went to USL, the University of Louisiana, Lafayette now. It used to be the University of Southwestern Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns. 4 years there, had a really good career there. Got drafted in 1991 NBA draft to Milwaukee. Traded to Denver Nuggets. Spent 3 years in Denver Nuggets, which was awesome. And then my career went to Europe and went international then. So that's a quick synopsis of, that ride, that roller coaster ride. But it was awesome for so many reasons, because small town boy, Louisiana, where I'm from, a lot of people, they don't go international. Some people don't even leave out of their own state. Wow. So to be able to have the opportunity, which is a blessing, to play international ball, to go from this to this, it's been tremendous, man. It's been tremendous. And then I arrived here on the shores of Australia, January 1998.
And how did this happen, mate? Did you have connections over there in America?
Connections was Donnell Mee,
right.
my teammate with the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
He was playing in Canberra with Rob Rose. Said, man, look, we had the same agent. Hey, you need to come check Australia out. Because we've been to Europe. And Europe is good, but Europe is kind of funny. You can sign a deal. The club may decide, okay, we want to move on you, but you may not get your money. You don't always get what you promised. It's a grind. You might be doing 2 days for like 8 to 10 months. It's just different. It's beautiful that the countries are so close together. You can go to different countries and whatnot. It's an experience. But Australia was more like America, but not like America. It just seemed to be that right in between. So I came down, and I had to try out for it. Phil made me try out. I still give Phil, grief about this, making me try out. I was like, dude, I'm a former NBA player. Why I got to try out to make the team, right? But you know what? I give Phil credit, because he made me try out in LA with a guy he'd been in NBA a long time. I can't remember his name now. He was the Clippers coach, assistant coach. And he worked me and a guy by the name of Jeff Webster out, who ended up playing some years later in the NBL. And we had to go toe-to-toe for the position. So I beat him out, and that's how I got here. But I still don't like the fact that Phil made me do that. I don't like the fact that Phil made me do it, man. But I got the job done.
Exactly. I'll remind him next time I see him.
You remind him.
Speaking of Smythy, the great Smythy, obviously he's a mate of mine and a good mate of yours as well. What was he like as a coach? Because in terms of coaches, he seemed to be one of the most relaxed blokes you could ever see. Did he ever give you guys a spray, or?
You know what? A spray from Phil is not really a spray. But it was a couple of times after we won the first championship. The second year, I think we got off to a slow start. I don't know if we was 2-3 or something like that, 2-4. And I remember Phil tightened some things up on us a little bit and gave us a few words. And it wasn't a spray, man. You kind of maybe like, damn, is that coach being angry? Is coach giving us a spray? So he was so cool, man. And he's an original, because I never really had a coach like Phil before, and that's in a great way, because he just had a great feel for his players. And Joey has that as well. Joey has a great ability to feel the pulse of his players and his team. And Phil has that as well. He was awesome to play for, a player's coach. Both of those guys are. They're players, coaches. Players want to play for them because they allow you to play your game. And whatever your talents are, your skill sets are, you can play them in their system. You have that freedom. All right. You have other programs where it's a lot more rigid, a lot more tight. You got to play within that structure. But Joey wasn't like that. Phil wasn't like that. And but he knew he did not overcoach us. That's the biggest compliment that I can give Phil, or maybe even any coach, to have the confidence to be able to allow you to go out there and give you feedback and give you some structure, but just enough to not overdo it and to kind of clip your wings. Some guys who play for Phil played better for Phil than they did for other coaches, you know, and he had a great feel for the game. He played in 4 Olympics, man.
Yeah.
That's 16 years.
One of the best of all time is Australia.
His career is unbelievable, what he's done as a player and as a coach. So
don't tell him that though. He's got his head's big enough already.
Man, you know, he's awesome, man. He's just awesome as a coach, and we enjoy playing for him. We still catch up every now and then, and we catch up. The banter starts right away. We start giving it to each other right away, and but. He done so much for my game and so much for the other guy's game and so much for just being positive. He was very big on being positive, stay together as a team, you know, get through the adversity. Don't allow the adversity to change who you are and whatnot. Let's stay together as a group. And he doesn't get the credit that he deserves because Donnell and I were ex-NBA guys. They think that, oh, well, Phil had ex-NBA guys, and he had Brett Maher, legend of the club, the Golden Boy. He had Mark Davis towards the end, but Mark was still very efficient, and Paul Reese and all these guys. SJ, our assistant coach, was a very big part of that. Him and Phil worked together, and they're total opposites. They're funny as I don't know what, like what was the Odd Couple, like the Australian version of the Odd Couple, yep. Oscar and Felix. And but the way that he was able to do things with us as a group, and then with another group when we wasn't there, when they won another championship with Brett and Willie Farley and another whole group, he still just doesn't get the credit he deserves. And he deserves a lot of credit for that 10, 11-year run he had, 3 championships.
Yeah, well said. You've answered it very well there, mate. Speaking of the banter, I've got a bit of dirt on you, KB. I was speaking to an ex-teammate of yours. I won't reveal his name, but you probably got a bit of an idea. He's told me some stories. Now, the first one is that nicknames, right? Some of my nicknames my mates call me, I'm not a fan of, but we can't choose our own nicknames. But apparently, you want to be known as Mr. Clutchman. And the boys went to you about this. Like, you can't have your own nickname, KB. You're like, no, I'm Mr. Clutchman. I'm going with that. Tell me about this.
You know what? Our training sessions were unique, and they were so much fun. I've never experienced anything like it. The freedom we had at our trainings. So everything was very competitive, and we had a lot of guys who just were very competitive, hate to lose. And if you won, you would let the other person know all day until you had a chance to get back at them. So it was a lot of smack talking, man, constantly. So we have a little scrimmage, boom, 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 and I got the last second shot, and I shoot it from a 3, boom, Mr. Clutch, and I nail it, right? And I walk off, strutting off the court, and everybody just start cracking up laughing, right? So ever since then, I became Mr. Clutch and the clutch fluid and all of this, and Rupert Sapwell, my teammate, who gave me more grief than anyone else, probably in this world. He is unbelievable artist, and he drew these great little portraits of us as a team, and he would have a little can of clutch fluid right there for me with the hose going up. And so, you know, it came about. I gave myself the nickname just randomly. It wasn't planned, Bevo. Yeah. You know, but the boys just kind of stuck with it, and they've been giving me grief since then. So it's quite a bit to live up to at certain times too, man. Let me tell you, Mr. Clutch.
Put pressure on yourself.
Hey, man, let me tell you.
Now, the other one as well I've been told is you used to be a bit late for the trainings, and Smythe had this thing back in the day. It was a 3-strike policy, and you got your 3rd strike, and your punishment was to wash all the boys and all the coaches' cars. And now, that would have taken a lot of work, KB, but I heard from a little birdie that you actually didn't do it yourself. You actually paid a young kid to wash everyone's cars. Is this true?
Yeah, you know what? Okay. I don't deny it. But you know what put me off from washing the cars was Paul Reese. Reese, I think, had to wash the cars, and he done it in a Speedo.
Oh, no.
And if I'm not mistaken, I saw that, and I was like, oh, hell no. I didn't know if I had to wear a Speedo or not, but I wasn't about to do it. So I said, Coach, let's have a chat. Let's have a chat. What if I just take everybody to the car wash and I just pay for everybody to get their cars washed and professionally detailed and all of that? You know, and Phil was looking at me like, and I think I ended up selling on getting somebody to wash the cars for him or something else. But I didn't do it. It went to a good cause, man. It went to a good cause. Yeah.
Oh, that's gold. And I heard as well that there was a bit of uncertainty when you came over to the Sixers for the first time because you were suffering a bit of jet lag. And young Martin Catalini, obviously one of your former teammates and a good mate of yours as well, he was a bit concerned, and they were sort of predicting, or they were putting bets on when you were going to be on the next flight back to America because you were having a bit of a shocker. Is that true, KB, as well?
Man,
what happened?
It's true. And it's horrible, huh? What kind of teammates are they? These guys, what kind of teammates are those? So I'm getting off a plane, I don't know, 14, 16, 18 hours. I got to come and train. I don't know, Phil might have made me train the day I got off the plane. I can't remember, I don't know. But we were there, and I find out, you know, I was jet lagged. I was a little bit rusty, you know, missing my shots, just trying my rhythm and stuff. And then I find out these guys are taking bets and wages. You know, and then my shot is a little, they call it a slingshot, they call it a lot of things. I'm like, get it out of the net, you know, get it out of the net. And they over there just giving me grief, and they taking bets on the teammates. Rupert Sapwell would have been leading the charge would have been Sappy. John really probably was involved in it. Of course, Catalini, one of the biggest jokers on the team, would have been there. And I remember the first time we walked in the locker room, man, I had a little fro just like this. And we walk in, and all the guys are sitting in their chair there looking. And as soon as we walk in, the shit stirring start right away. It's like the chemistry that we had is just, I've never had that chemistry before with a team. We just clicked. And the Aussies are good for going at you, man. They're good for giving you grief, man. And you guys love it. And so I walked in there, man, and they was talking about my afro, and they was talking about my earring, and Darnell, he's so quiet, you know, it's like he's not even in the room. And they just targeted on me, and then I just went right back at him. And John really, he looked like the kid off of Powder. You ever seen the old movie Powder where this kid has this powder? And I was like, I said, that looked like the guy from Powder, and everybody, and that kind of broke the ice with me saying something, right? And everybody cracked up laughing. And then next thing you know, a few trainings later, there's a poster of a Powder on the back of Willie's, behind his chair and everything. And so, and from that moment, oh man, it was just, we were off and running.
And that's what builds, like you said, that's what built chemistry and obviously made you guys such a successful team. When you're all friends, you had that banter, but you all play for each other. That's what it's all about, isn't it? So
it is what it's about, but it's tremendously hard to do, Bevo. Every single sporting code is trying to do it every single year. And we had our run at it. You know, the Wildcats got a tremendous run. Sydney Kings had a great run at it with Coach Gorgeous, who's back in the league, which is great for the league. Also, we saw Geelong had it, Hawthorn, now it's Richmond. These great runs, these little dynasties. And it's hard, it doesn't last because it's just so competitive and everybody's trying to get there. And when you get an opportunity and that chemistry clicks, you gotta be, just ride that horse as long as you can ride it, because everybody's trying to get there and you can't. It's just so fragile, and it's so many of these pieces just got to fit the right way.
We saw that with Port this year, didn't we? Like best team all year in the minor, you know, winning the minor premiership, and then just falling at that last hurdle, losing by 6 points to Richmond, and that's just so hard to take, especially being a Port fan. But like you said before, you've just got to take opportunities, don't you? And it's so hard to win those premierships or championships in basketball. So yeah, to win two is an amazing achievement.
To win two is an amazing achievement. They don't come around very often. You can go your whole professional career, even your whole amateur career, and not be in the grand final, and not win one.
Well said. There's plenty of people that have done that as well. And before we let you go, mate, recently you played in the game with young Cooper. Now, you're an inspirational man yourself, but this kid is just unbelievable, isn't he? 12 years old, made the really tough decision this year to amputate his leg due to medical reasons. And you wouldn't even know he's just so positive and so upbeat, and obviously recently organised by Mixmas 2.3, there was a basketball game that you played in between the Sixers and the All-Stars as well. Talk to us through this and I guess what Coops means to you as well, Brooksy.
Yeah, look, I met young Cooper. He's a tremendous kid. To make the decision he made is unheard of, and he's so resilient. Beautiful family, his mom, dad, sister, and brother as well. Great support there. And I think Jody and Soda and that whole station, it escapes my mind right now, but they're the ones behind to help get that thing going and build it up to what they built it up to, and it was unbelievable. Shout out to the Premier who got the arena for us, I believe, and to Grant Kelly, who has he had something to do with us being able to use that facility as well, and what some of the things he done. But it was just so many people who came together to make that event what it was. Phil was there, Brett Maher, the great Aaron Phillips, man, EP, what do you say, Rachel Spawn. There was so many people that were there to help make that what it was. The Sixer boys were awesome. And, you know, Cooper is going to be fine. He's got great family support, but he is very, very grounded for a young fella at 12, very humble. And he only had that, I think, the leg for maybe a week. Yeah. So he was still, you know, getting used to it and whatnot. He's a pretty good shooter. So shout out to Coop out there. If you ever want any free lessons, Coop, come and check us out over at Brooks Basketball. But
I'll make sure I tell him that. So yeah.
It was a great night. It really was. Had a lot of people came out to support it, and it's for a great cause. And that's what it's supposed to be about, right, Bevo? That's what it's about.
Well said, mate. No, absolutely spot on there. It's great to see those sort of causes, and obviously great people like yourself getting involved. And Brooksy, mate, this has been an absolute pleasure having you today on Legends with Bevo. Keep up the great work. Hopefully we're back seeing Brooks Basketball Services sooner rather than later, once this COVID thing buggers off, mate. And well done in your career, and thanks so much for giving us your time to have a chat today, buddy.
Yeah, thank you, Bevo. I appreciate it, man.
You're welcome.